Hi, welcome back. Welcome to our last video in the 5 to Know Who's Who series for Women's History Month. This week, I'm going to share information about 5 young women leaders. So similar to the other videos, you can find a link either above or below where you're watching this that will have a link to our catalog so you can find these titles as well as some other resources we have about these young women. So let's start in the past and we'll work our way towards today. So the first young woman I want to share with you is Clara Lemlick. And this is a book about her called Brave Girl, Clara and the Shirtwaist Makers' Strike of 1909. And this is written by Michelle Markle, and the pictures are by Melissa Sweet. So Clara Lemlick was a young girl when she came to the United States from Ukraine. She didn't speak any English, and she got a job in the New York garment district. And she was working there at a time when there were thousands of other immigrant children and teens who were working under horrible conditions. But she decided to try to make a stand and change that. So she joined a union, and then she helped lead a huge workers' strike called the Strike of 20,000. And that important event helped win rights for workers in the United States. So she was a really important young woman, and she wanted to fight for workers' rights the rest of her life. All right, moving forward in time a little bit, the next person I'm going to share is Claudette Colvin. And this is a book about her called Claudette Colvin, Twice Toward Justice. And this book is by Philip Hose. So if you heard of Rosa Parks, probably have. Have you heard of Claudette Colvin? Perhaps not. Claudette Colvin was a very brave young woman. When she was 15 years old, she refused to move to the back of a bus in Montgomery, Alabama, just like Rosa Parks. But Claudette did it 9 months before Rosa Parks did. She was very brave and very strong. And if you want to learn more about her and why her story really was never told, I highly recommend this book. This book is incredible. It won the National Book Award for Young Children's Literature, and it also won a Newbery Honor. So this is a great book for older readers to learn about civil rights and learn about Claudette Colvin. All right, so the next 3 young women I'm going to tell you about are activists and important leaders who are still making change today. So the first one is Malala Yousafzai. Now, Malala grew up in the Swat Valley in Pakistan, and her father was a teacher, and Malala loved school and learning. And when the Taliban came to her area, war started. The Taliban did not want her father teaching girls, and the Taliban did not want Malala to be advocating for girls to get education. So the Taliban targeted her and they shot her when she was a young woman. She was 15 years old. She recovered, she survived, and she is still today one of the most outspoken and strongest advocates for women and girls getting education around the world. She was the youngest person to ever receive the Nobel Peace Prize. We have a lot of books about Malala. This one is a longer chapter book for older readers. We also have picture books about Malala. This one is her autobiography, so you can see it was written by her. I Am Malala, How One Girl Stood Up for Education and Changed the World. So no matter your age and no matter what reading level you're at, I bet we have a great book for you here at the library about Malala Yousafzai. Marley Diaz is another young leader I want to tell you about. She lives here in the United States in New Jersey. And what she's most passionate about is representation in books. So when she was a young learner in middle school, she noticed that all the books she had to read for her class assigned reading lists were, she calls them white boys with dogs books. So books like Old Yeller or Where the Red Fern Grows. And they were good books, but she really wanted books where she could see herself and see some kids that looked like the diverse community that she lived in. So along with the help of her parents, Marley started the hashtag 1000 Black Girl Books movement. And so she works to get diverse books into classrooms and libraries and kids' hands, and also onto reading lists. She has done a ton of TV appearances. She did a national literacy tour, and she was on the 21 under 21 Teen Vogue list. She also wrote this book called Marley Diaz Gets It Done, and so can you. And it's super inspiring. So if you are someone that wants to change the world and be an activist as well, I highly recommend starting here. Also, if you love books and you want some recommendations, she's got some great book lists in the back. So I recommend it for that as well. Another young woman that is working today to make the world a better place, to really save our planet, is a young woman named Greta Thunberg, and she lives in Sweden. She was a young girl, about 8 years old, when she first learned about climate change and global warming, and it really, really concerned her, and so she decided to do something about it. So one of the things that she did was she started striking from school on Fridays to try to push her elected leaders in Sweden to do something about climate change. And this movement that she started, just one girl in Sweden, has become a global phenomenon. And now there are thousands of students all around the world that protest and strike from school on Fridays. She has spoken at the United Nations, and she is a strong advocate for the environment. This book is from a series called Little People, Big Dreams. This one here was written by Maria Isabel Sanchez Vergara, and it was illustrated by Anke Weckman. This is a great series. There are a lot of them in our collection, so if you want to read about lots of different young activists that are changing the world, I recommend Little People, Big Dreams. Well, that's it. Those are the 5 young women I have to share with you today. I hope you check out these books or some other books about them. I hope that you're inspired, and I hope that you find something that you're passionate about and a way that you can make an impact on your community.